running since 2019, and we've scaled rapidly. We work with over 1,000 companies worldwide at the moment. These include B2B companies, B2C, and agencies. So agencies actually resell our service. So we operate as if we're their sales team for their clients and do lead gen for their clients and sales closing under a white label facility. So someone will go to, let's say, Marketing X, they'll purchase the service, but behind the scenes, we're actually providing that service. We also do 4 different tiered services for direct clients, i.e. yourselves, where we either do lead generation, which is when we generate them an interested prospect in their service and we pass them over to them. We do B2B appointment setting. So that is when we actually engage in the conversation with them. Once they've shared they're interested, we ask them questions, we make sure they're the right fit. Then we book them in your calendar so that you or your team take that call with them and close them effectively. So we give you that qualified lead. Then we also do B2B sales closing for select companies. This tends to be when we actually take a call like myself, doing an online virtual call on Zoom, on Google Meets, whatever it may be. And we represent your company in order to convert them into a paid client, a paying client. So this is exactly what we offer at Newson. So how do we do it? How do we generate the leads? How does it all work? So I'm just going to go through that process. So if you were to come on board with us and join us with one of these services, the first step is we ask you to fill in an onboarding questionnaire, or where you just explain about your business in a bit more detail in terms of who is it exactly industries you're looking to target. It's okay if you don't know that information, but we like to understand, get a background of everything that you do know and you do want us to do, so we can build the perfect campaign for you. So in that onboarding, we're understanding what your offering is, all the select things just to get a good background about it, who you're looking to target, and what the overall kind of objective is. So you might say, you know, I want to scale to this amount, or I want to sell this amount, or I want to generate this amount of appointments a month with these types of companies or this space. This is who I want to talk to. So we'll go away then is build a list. So we use 5 of the biggest data providers on the market. That's Apollo, that's Cognizant, that's Crunchbase, that's Seamless, and ZoomInfo. So we use all of these as data tools, as well as LinkedIn Sales Navigator, to build and aggregate your contact list. We build a list that has all of their emails, their phone numbers, all of the information we need of the key decision makers, whether it's the actual CEOs, directors, or it might be a head of HR, head of operations. It might be a specific decision maker in a department. So we handle all that. The next part to our process is we design the strategy. So that because we're an outbound sales company, it's all about how we approach someone. So we're building you a very complementary multi-channel outreach strategy that includes messaging on LinkedIn, messaging on email, and we even do phone calls. So you will receive a series of different scripts effectively of how we're going to approach a decision maker over a 30-day period. So what does that typically look like? So how it typically looks like is it might be like, first message will be a connection request. So the connection request will say something to invite them to a conversation. So we're very, very good at the way that we construct messaging. We attract interest because it's a very fundamental part in our process and our service. The next part might be we'll send an email, 3 days later. So the whole structure of the sequence, the outreach strategy, is if they do not respond. But what we do find 9 times out of 10 is that they usually respond on the first touch point, because we know how to open a conversation. We know how to start the ball rolling effectively. Once the ball starts rolling, this is all handled by our software. So we have a very kind of advanced automation software which does the initial engagement. So all we want to do from the engagement is have a high volume, because it's not possible for a human to contact 300-400 people a day. It just isn't. So we do this so that we can target a lot of key prospects, and then the only aim for that is just to get a response. Once we get that response and they are open, they are looking to discuss this topic that we've discussed with them, we've opened a conversation about, that's when it's handed over to our dedicated team. So depending on what service you want, you may want the lead generation. So we would just check that they are a qualified lead. They have said they want more information. Then we pass them to you. The way that we pass them to you, we can give you direct access to our platform. So there's a portal which has the inbox with all the leads coming through with their messaging and everything. Or we can sync it to your CRM, or we can have a spreadsheet. Even sometimes some clients like a WhatsApp notification or an email. So there's all these different ways of how you can receive the information that there's a new lead, but it happens in real time, and it usually looks like this. It will say new lead and who it's from. You may think, well, actually, we're really busy and we would prefer to have the meetings actually booked in our calendar, so they're a little bit more kind of confirmed. So what we do is we have the upgraded package, which is the appointment setting service, and that's when we'll actually follow up with them. We'll respond to them on your behalf, and we'll make sure they're the right lead in terms of asking them qualification questions like, do you have an office? Is this what you need? Just to make sure that they are a right fit before we book them in, because our goal is that we only want to book in someone who's the right criteria, they have the right needs, so that you have really good productive meetings and there's a very, very high close rate. So with the appointment setting service, that is one of our most popular offerings because it's so complete. Then we also have the most advanced or all-in-one service, and that's the sales closing. So that includes the appointment setting and the sales closing. So not only will we be generating your leads, booking your appointments, but we actually will take the sales call as well. So it's an all-in-one client acquisition service that we provide. And we tend to provide that to people who don't really have good sales closers in-house. They find that they struggle to close deals, or if it's a smaller company, they don't actually have a dedicated salesperson. So they need someone to actually close those calls we're generating. So that's why we have that offering, and it's very appealing for someone who doesn't have a proper sales closer in-house. Okay. So our strategy utilizes LinkedIn, email, and calls. The reason we do that is because it's the most #1 way to get a hold of someone that you want to talk to and generate new business. LinkedIn is a goldmine for new business, so is email and calls when used correctly. If you get someone who's very poor at making calls or sending an email, you won't get any response. But when you have someone who knows what they're doing, you can get an immediate response. That's why it's so powerful when someone who's good at what they're doing knows what to do with outbound. Also, organic is great because we only charge you a set rate, and that rate, you don't have to pay any hidden or additional charges. For example, if you're doing paid advertising, you'll pay a management fee, i.e. the service cost, and then you have to pay the marketing spend on top. You don't need to do any of that with us. It's all included. So it's the #1 most cost-effective way. The great thing with us as well is that we can, there is a way, in terms of the structure and how it all works. So you decide which plan you want. We choose a plan that's going to suit you. So you can either do it on a monthly basis, which is a month rate on the set date every single month. Then we also have the guaranteed option, which is when you decide to have a guarantee option. So this guarantee is a one-off cost, which you pay on a set amount of leads or appointments. And then we have a performance base, which is you pay a setup fee and then you pay every time there's lead, appointment, or call taken. So each of those have their pros and cons, and it depends on the structure you prefer. The monthly tends to be the most cost effective, so I would definitely recommend that. But of course, if you prefer to have a guarantee or work on a performance base, we also have those available as well. In terms of the setup time, so if you fill in the onboarding form to get launched, it usually takes 1 to 2 business days on average. So it's really, really fast. You're not waiting weeks to get going. With every service, our costs start at this price. So these are our starting prices. What I mean by starting is this what we start with you. But if you want to generate more leads than this average, or more sales closes or more leads, then you would ask us and we can give you more of a bespoke price. Okay. But this is generally what you'd be looking worst case on those results. I hope that kind of clarifies everything. Everything's on a month-by-month basis in terms of contractual. There's no minimum obligation. Really good service to get involved with. Definitely recommend it. And yeah, it would be great to hear back from you and get started. Thank you so much again.